What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts apps. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm. There's Swag. I know at the end of the year we're going to do our best and worst, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, what just jumped on the top documentary for me of 2022, I don't even care about a minute right now. I Love You, You Hate Me, this Barney documentary on Peacock.
That one was wild.
I have never seen a more crazy and yet intelligent documentary since Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Did we get Demi Lovato and Barty doing lines with each other?
No, they didn't even talk to her. That's wild. I thought they
They
would
were mentioned. They were mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, they mentioned her and Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
But they didn't interview them.
There was so much things I found out about Barney I didn't even know about. And it's two parts. It's not a 4-part extravaganza. It's like one part is like 50 minutes and the second part is 48 minutes. So together it's like, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And the first part focuses on Cheryl Leach and it focuses on the reason why she created Barney in the first place. Now, I don't know what y'all childhood was like, but me, I grew up with Barney.
Oh yeah, I can still sing you the theme song.
Yeah, me and my sister had
The
Barney.
burnt one?
Huh?
The burnt one or the bright purple one?
What happened?
Oh, you talk about the doll?
One was dark purple. One
Yes.
was like
My sister had the dark purple one.
I had both, but dark purple. Yeah.
But my why you looking at me like this? Oh.
I'm just sitting here.
Oh yeah, no. But we had a tape. We had Barney Goes to the North Pole, right?
Oh my god!
And I remember it was a white cassette tape. When I say we ran that thing to the ground, we did because my sister used to collect all the Barney tapes.
Jesus.
Cause the main one is when Barney went to the North Pole. I was just like, oh, Christmas time, fuck Christmas, it's July. Put that on there. Yeah, that's what it was. So I'm very familiar with it. I remember seeing all the kids again, like when they was interviewing. I was like, oh, that's what you grew up to be.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, they are just sitting there describing, where the idea came from. But she wanted her son to watch something because he was watching these like creepy animals come to life and dance around in his room at night. I was like, this is creepy. Bro. Let's try something else. Swag, that joke was crazy. I was just like, because in the makeup and the suits looks a little creepy. They all just sitting around there holding hands and singing to him in a circle. I'm like, this is wrong. Right. He gotta watch something else. So she created, and kids in the 90s loved dinosaurs. Well, it came out in the 80s, and then he created, like a happy singing purple dinosaur. Now the first iteration of Barney looked creepy as hell.
Yes, the first Barney was, we need to clean this up, fix it.
And that's the one that's from the 80s. But then when it got the original guy because there was one guy that did the voice and one guy that did
the body,
the body, which I didn't know at first.
Who did the body?
He said, who did the body? I didn't know at first. I was just like, I thought it was whoever was in that suit was sitting there talking to the Barney voice and stuff. I didn't know it was two different things.
I promise you, the rumors that you heard when we was a kid, were true.
Yeah,
I had no idea that it was two different people because I knew listening to this guy talk, it was not a black guy, but it was. Everybody was like, Barney is black, right? And I'm like, Barney ain't black. Get out of here. I was wrong.
Swear, we was wrong.
We was big wrong.
After the first guy to play Barney, he went to the military. He was just like, I'm cool. But then they got this other guy who was
David Joyner.
Yeah, David Joyner, who was a what, dear?
Tantric sex guru. I implore you to go look up what a tantric sex guru is.
I thought you just look at that part in the video. He was like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Go look, Google it. Don't click on the images tab or anything, but Google it. Cause I was scared. I was like, I don't want this in my search history. what's going to start coming up in my algorithm? But I was genuinely curious. And I was like, I see why they told my mans to be quiet about his personal life.
Because that would look so wrong with them
Barney.
kids. Yes, that would look so wrong around them kids. And he came in. They showed him he was when Barney got big on stage, and then he showed the routine he did. He still know how to do the routine.
He's
and everything.
Still doing the whole routine. They had it in slow mo. I said, what is going on right now?
And it was funny because like there was like the first guy. He was just like a guy. He was just sitting there. Then he came in and he would start jumping around.
He said he was
everything.
He was very animated about it.
But and then apparently the Barney suit is like 60 pounds. That's crazy. First of all, what was he hopped up on? He was doing this. He was jumping around this Barney suit with 60 pounds.
That's like all the like Big Bird and all them. They all heavy. So
yeah.
But Big Bird not out here doing kickball changes and
he ain't doing 360
up and around in the shirt.
That man was doing 360 in the Barney suit. I'm like, bro,
that's
man,
crazy.
your calf and thigh muscles is like
they strong.
Like there's a rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he got that signature kick. What was it? A kick?
Yeah, a little kick
I don't know
off.
what you call it. Yeah.
So that's what they talk about in part one, and like how the successful came in, and then they talked about when they add the different characters, especially that little hip hop track. Was that Aquafina that they was interviewing? It looked like Aquafina to me.
It might have been. I don't know.
Bob West is the voice, by the way.
For Barney, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They talked to the person who did the music and everything, and it was like, okay, we're really getting to know the history of Barney, and they talked to a lot of kids that was on there.
Yes, but there was this foreboding thing, like they just kept leading up to
something. It was.
I was like, what's about to happen?
You felt the darkness in the background, Swag. I'm dead serious.
It was like the whole mood of the documentary would change. I was like, what is going on?
It was like, oh, so do you want to talk about it? It was like, I didn't know where we're going there. So, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like, you know, even one of them, Cheryl Leach had a son, right? And she had a babysitter. So she was talking about, you know, how you know, when it was like raising him and everything. And then you see like the thing scratches like 2 months later. And she come back and was like, I wasn't being completely forward with you about what happened. I was like, what's happening? I was getting creeped out with her son. Why is the Cheryl Leach on here? Let's talk about it, you know? And it was built up to that. And then they started bringing on people that had these different kind of clubs or different kind of things. Remember the guy who
real quick, before we get there, I do want to mention, side note, they had Steve in this.
They definitely did have Steve from Blue's Clues.
Steve from Blue's Clues and Bill Nye the Science Guy.
They only brought Steve from Blue's Clues in here to Steve us.
Oh my God, we'll talk about that. Yeah,
we'll talk about that. That shit worked for me.
It did. Yep.
It did. I was like, it worked for me, bro. And I had that "Won't You Be My Neighbor" shit in me. I was like, it got me. It's taking it. So as we're building up to that, they start bringing in, like, there's this one guy who was so mad that his daughter was so into Barney.
Oh my God.
He created
this guy.
He's the OG Karen.
Yeah, he created a Barney. What was it called?
I Hate Barney newsletter or something like that.
Social Society or something.
It's Social Society for parents that feel as though that Barney's taking over their kids' lives because their kids don't want to spend time with them.
If only they could see it now. First of all, you need to do some internal searching if your kid don't want to spend time with you. That's the first thing. Okay.
But then again, just turn off the TV.
Also, they are going to have a tantrum. That's going to happen. We have a toddler. But I promise you, even when she's watching her favorite show, she still like us. Maybe, just maybe, it was you.
Yeah. Then they had somebody else who created this whole Barney type
Jihad.
Huh?
Jihad.
Yeah, Jihad guy.
Jihad. Oh my God, I just black mom this so bad.
The
Jihad for Barney or something like that.
And I was just like, he came in there with asshole vibes.
He really did.
Especially the guy, he answered the phone, he was like, spam call, they suck. I'm like, what?
I was like, in the middle of the interview, I was like,
that's why they kept it in there, because they wanted us to believe that he was a dickhead.
And then there was this. Okay, so don't tell everybody about the future about it. But then there was also this white lady that was on there who was like a anti-hate therapist type thing. Yeah.
She did not need to be in there.
I was not ready for that at all.
Her introduction, I was like, why are you in here?
So Swag, so remember those 3 characters, right? Or those 3 people. These people are real people.
And the chicken.
Okay.
And the San Diego chicken.
Oh my God, the chicken. I forgot about the chicken.
Who's in the full chicken costume.
Like, not even just the man. He was talking.
He's gimmicked up. He's in the full gimmick.
Completely, like, talking the whole time in this chicken suit. Don't take the head off one time or nothing.
Now, so since we set it up in part 1, part 2 is like, okay, the part 1 was the love part. Part 2 is the hate.
It's the hate.
And when you pop in part 2, when I say hate, I was just like, I think Barney got worse than some black people out here.
They was going off on Barney, bro.
They had videos of guys holding Barney outside their backyard with a gun or something. Die, you commie fuck, and just keep shooting Barney in the head.
Barney.
And they were like, why do you hate him? And it was like, because it ain't. What he said? Because it's not. Did he say because it's not Sesame Street? Is that what
yeah, he said he told so they try to take our Big Bird away. I'm like, what?
Who took your Big Bird? First of all, this guy was in college when this happened. He was organizing Barney hate, like, you know how they have rage rooms now? It was like a Barney rage room. He would just have different Barney things and let college students come in and just let out all of their hatred on Barney related items. And when they asked him, this fully grown man, why he did it, they were trying to replace Big Bird with Barney. And I'm like, bro, you're 18 years old.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But that's what I'm saying. It can still be Big Bird. You can still like Big Bird, and Barney can be here. It wasn't for you. I don't understand.
That remind me of, something that's going on now with a certain water creature, but,
You said certain water creature?
Yep.
Like Baby Shark, you must be talking about?
I was talking about the mermaid, but okay.
The mermaid.
Okay, I was like... I'm not
she is a water creature. She's not a person.
Yeah. It was doing, and I'm talking about the hate. They was coming on shows and just talking all that. I was like, what is wrong with these people?
Yes, the guy who came up with the I Hate Barney Secret Society, he went on one of them talk shows, and when I tell you this one mom read him for filth, she was just like, it's you. You're probably running for something because you ain't shit. She basically gave it to that man. And the wild part was, she was right.
He was right. So
she was right.
I called this documentary intelligent.
And then it was showing the old days of like Springer when they went working at first, and then it was like, oh, I guess people like,
Oh
yes,
yeah.
It took a turn in the second when I was just like, where are we going?
Yeah, it turned the Jerry Springer. I mean, it automatically showed. What was that guy that just jumped on that man's chest?
I don't remember his name, but it was a black dude. He was just like, you got one more time to call me the N-word.
Yes.
He didn't give him a second time. My man took a breath and he just attacked. I said, well then.
It was about the rise of Jerry Springer, what the first fight on Jerry Springer was.
Yes, that man's name was Fuck Around and Find Out. That was his name. I said, whoa.
So the reason why I called this an intelligent documentary is because remember those 3 people that we brought up, Swag? It was like holding a mirror to them because he came on there because the guy that had the I Hate Barney campaign was alcoholic, and he was so upset.
That's why his daughter hated his ass.
And he was so upset that he being alcoholic and then doing all the bad stuff that drove his daughter away to watch Barney. He put his anger in something, and kind of like how they was comparing what happening with the Barney back in the day was happening today.
To now, yeah.
And then they brought up the white lady, the anti-hate therapist. She was a former white supremacist and neo-Nazi.
Had a whole picture of her doing the Hitler salute and everything.
And I was like,
I said, well, this went left.
I was not expecting that to come out your mouth. She was just like, after she was sitting there, she was actually breaking down actual stuff that makes sense about hate and where hate is coming from and how it's displaced and all stuff, even in today's world of what's going on today. And then she just after she told everybody that she was like, oh, by the way, yeah, I was a white supremacist and neo-Nazi.
That's how I know this so much.
Exactly, because I came from there. I was just like, I didn't expect that.
Not at all.
I didn't expect that at all. Even the same thing with the guy with the
jihad for
the jihad thing. He actually admitted that they were probably the cause of a lot of the like the social media
hate. Yeah, like
today.
Social media hate. Like how people are so angry on the internet now. Like, perfect example. I don't know if any of y'all saw it, but Kevin Stage did a video about some lady who posted, oh, me and my husband, we sit in our garden every morning to have coffee, and it's great. Mornings are sacred in this house. And when I tell you, people went off and projected every single piece of misery they've ever had.
I saw that too. I was like, why y'all hating on them having a good time?
Bro, it was so, like, people was plotting on the downfall of their marriage and talking about how this not gonna last and saying how the only reason they are happily married is because they don't gotta look at their spouse in the morning. Like, they was going off.
The funniest one I saw was someone was like, wow, you shouldn't post this because people have jobs that they have to go to in the morning. I was like,
exactly. So
why are you checking?
Imagine this guy is like, because this was in the dark ages, the beginning
AOL
times, when you only had a certain amount of internet times, where it's just like, man, we might be the origin of all of this mess that you see today, like starting all of that. And then notice, it's like, and all of this was just displaced teenage angst.
The self-awareness to me was so crazy in this documentary. It was
refreshing.
I wasn't even expecting it, which it turned me for a loop. Then we get to Cheryl Leach and how her husband.
Wait, I'm sorry. Before we get to the heavy part, we just got to talk about my man's Black Barney, because he is a character.
He's a character.
David Joyner. He's a character.
When he was going through his memories.
Yes. He was like, man, I keep this here. It was a great time in my life. I was Barney for 10 years. Like, damn, he was Barney for a long time.
Yeah, and I would do it. And then he was sitting there in all his memorabilia, and all of a sudden you hear like a little. He was like, "Oh, I love you, Barney." I was like, wow. What is wrong with you?
Yo, he had a moment with that Barney stuff.
And then they talk about the Barney kids. The Barney kids, they go to school. They get harassed for being Barney kids.
Yes, they getting beat up and bullied, and the one kid turned to a life of crime, and the one girl.
Hey, I won't be honest, I seen him and I was like, oh, he looked like he turned to drugs. Okay.
The one girl, which I was like, this is not right, but she was like, Barney saved her because she was abused before she started Barney, and I was just like, my God. And then now you look at it,
I'm not gonna lie. That was kind of mean for her. Probably her when people say that what Barney did to her, and then she was like, "No," but then it actually did happen to her. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of
was messed up."
Yeah.
And now you look at Demi Lovato. What the fuck? Like, what was going on, bro? Like, I feel bad for them kids. We was just on TV. What's the problem? It's Barney of all things.
Exactly. And then they talked to the other black kid, the boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the one who got.
I wasn't expecting him to do. I'm pretty sure he was on drugs or whatever. I wasn't expecting him to, his outcome.
Yeah, he's out with a friend one night. He was hanging with the wrong people. He got shot in the back, and he was paralyzed.
Told him he was never going to walk again.
And I was like, what?
What the fuck is going on with Barney in the background? And the wild part is everybody had these wild lives, and it has nothing to do like a direct connection to Barney. Wild.
And I was like, damn, they fucked you up.
Definitely
These kids is crazy.
They really did. They got the short end of the stick. And the wild part, when you sit and look at it on a lighter note, Barney was way ahead of his time. Now, where everybody talking about representation and things like that, they legit had kids from all kinds of different cultures on there, and you learned about their cultures, and you seeing kids of every race, ethnicity, whatever you want to call it, nationality, all over. I was like, oh. And then you look at this and you're like, damn, and y'all was trying to I see why y'all was trying to tear that down, because the hate deep in your soul.
It's
bad. Like
if y'all need to hear a song on repeat, it need to be Man in the Mirror. It got to be like y'all gotta check yourself.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but basically this whole thing was about Cheryl Leach, and in my mind, I'm like, she's not dead, right?
No,
I was thinking the same thing, Prime.
And I think that's how they wanted it to see. Just like everything else, they set it up to the very end of the documentary to be like, oh, she just didn't want to participate in this because she hates what Barney turned into, which is understandable.
Look now, Swag,
and she knew they was gonna be talking about her son.
Yeah, her son. Because Swag, the way they built this up was like, I thought her son killed her.
I did too.
I thought the son
was
killed
like, her. He hated her so much after it, and she a sibling that you never won. I was like, okay. Huh?
I mean, because honestly, I get that though. Like, she was out here talking about Barney was her kid and it's her. You know how people say projects are their baby, but it's like in a way of I built this from the ground up. Yeah. She really was like, Barney is my second son, and I'm like, wait a minute, wait. No, you only have one. That's it.
Exactly. And then the husband's getting pushed aside.
Oh my God, this is in the era of not in the era of the power, power suit businesswoman.
Yeah, no, because we're in the 90s. He's like, how dare you? You know
what? Let me meet myself.
He said, let me meet myself. I think he should. because what happens is her husband ends up killing himself.
That's messed up. I did not I'm like, bro, can you imagine that? So many horrible things happened.
Yeah.
Behind Barney. I had no idea. They was like threatening the life of the dude who made the I Love You song and his family. I said, yo, what the fuck is going on? And then her husband kills himself because they didn't really get into it, but it made it seem, they set it up like he felt emasculated because Barney took off and she was,
successful. Yes.
Yeah, successful and head of this corporation, and he just couldn't deal with that, so he killed himself.
And
I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that either.
I think it was a mix of that, but then they said she did leave like her ring a few times, wherever she was at or whatever.
I'm like, bro, that's not. But that's what I'm saying.
Because there are times, let's just be real, as somebody married, there are times that me and Ladies Catch have left our rings at home by accident. We doing dishes or doing stuff like that or things like that.
Cleaning up, giving the kids a bath, and I run out the house. I'm like, oh crap, I left my ring. It's not like, oh my God, I can't let anybody know I'm married. Like, come on. The whole premise of this is built off of her having a family and a son and wanting to have wholesome entertainment for her kid. Yeah. I don't know. I just I was like, this is wild.
Yep. And then her son goes crazy, and then so he didn't shoot his mom, but he shot his neighbor.
Shot his neighbor because what was the story? Like, they would always be going back and forth.
He was walking by his house.
He walking by his house, and he felt as though like, why looking into his house, like he was very paranoid.
He's a paranoid guy.
Yeah.
And I think it said that he had like no trespassing sign or something on there.
Yeah.
Dude,
he was walking. They said he was walking on like, in front of the house, not like on his property, just sidewalk. Yeah.
I think they said he stopped to read the like no trespassing sign or whatever he had and moved on. And dude rolled up with the gun already
on his mansion, by the way.
On his mansion, yeah. Shot him on his property.
And was just like, what's your problem? They apparently had issues before going back and forth and whatever. And just shot bull. And I'm like, okay. Like, but then they say like he had other problems.
A bulletproof vest.
What happened?
They said he had a bulletproof vest on while he did it.
Yes. I mean, if you roll up to somebody's house with a bulletproof vest and the gun already out waiting, this was clearly a plan you had before. Mm-hmm. That man could have said, I'm so sorry, and went in his house, and he still was going to shoot him. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Didn't they say he already had issues before this?
Yes, he had major issues.
Like, he had some problems. And
that because she left because of him, because he had like a brain tumor or something.
Yeah.
He had a tumor. So he had a brain tumor, and the babysitter came back and was like, look, I lied to y'all. Something was off with this kid. I ain't want to, put him out there like that, but I feel like I shouldn't lie to you in this documentary. And I was like, what was going on? So apparently he's been like that since he was a kid. Like, something wasn't quite right.
Exactly.
So.
Now, Swag, you still there?
Yeah.
With all this stuff that goes on, out of all the hate that we told you, Steve comes up on there and he Steves everybody.
He definitely did.
Oh my god, he goes like it's like he goes from out of the documentary to like the fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks the
He
fourth
broke
wall.
the fourth wall and Blues Clued us. Okay.
Yeah, he looked at the camera. He said, "Now look, I want you think about who your Barney was back in the day."
No, because that's not what he did. He turned around. He got the soft voice.
And
he was just like, you know how he used to ask you, so what do you think is the what's all these clues mean? That kind of thing. He turned. He said, "Who was your Barney?" And everybody getting all emotional, like, my Barney was Big Bird.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck?
And he said, now imagine, you know, whoever your Barney is and everything like that, and all this hate, and all them, you know, beating up on the Barney and going and, you know, beating them up on you know, at the sports stadiums and doing all this kind of harm and all this hate things to the thing that you love. And I was sitting there just like...
And everybody sitting there reflecting on what they were saying this whole documentary.
He was like, I was dead for all of the 90s for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, everybody killed me off. Like what was going on? And when I saw it, I was just like, yo, my heart's touched. Like, he had to do it. They had to bring him on.
That was the sole reason he was in this documentary. I wholeheartily believe they was like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Because that's
now why was Bill Nye there? I don't know.
I don't know why.
Bill Nye was there because he had a kids show. That's it. That's the only reason. Because
was-
why was Al Roker there?
Exactly. That was the same thing that happened in Won't You Be Our Neighbor. When we got Fred Rogers by Fred Rogers. And I was just like, I can't do this. And then so I'm telling y'all right now, that was the end of the documentary. This was the best documentary of 2022. Because right now I did my little, you know, mid-year things like that. And I know I was talking about Jan and all that stuff like that. Fuck all that. This Barney documentary was the best thing. If you do anything swag, check the documentary out.
Yes, go give it. I know we told you the whole thing basically, but you know, go give it a chance.
It ain't gonna be tonight. It ain't gonna be this week. But I'm saying, but on Peacock, I had the thing. Just go over there and watch it. But that's what we end the podcast at right now.
And then they ended it with the dude doing the dance in full, by the way.
Oh yeah. You know, homeboy was doing
My
the
man
dance.
was doing the Barney dance.
He did the whole
in
dance
slow mo.
In slow mo. I was like, oh my god, get this man in the house. Because he don't bring back Barney though. I'm saying he got time for the reboot.
Don't do that because they jumped the shark when they added that little dinosaur baby, the little cousin or whatever he was.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying too. It was like, dang, yep, it's ending because this is not.
He was good with BJ and Baby Bop.
Wasn't like he was more like ignorant.
He was like the hip hop dinosaur.
Yeah, that's what I know.
That's
He was talking
as
about.
Nice. Yeah, that's why he wasn't as nice. He was kind of more meaner than the others.
They were trying to introduce conflict with him, and I was like, oh, okay.